Hello and welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen, to another show. I am your host, Mad Sherman, and you are watching One Man's Worldview. Today, I want to talk about our president, Mr. Lion Joe Biden. Yeah, you know, this guy is a trip. I will dare say that he lies just as much, or if not more, than Donald Trump. And believe me, Donald Trump is one of the biggest lies you ever want to see. That dude was telling lies 1,000 miles an hour every single day. But one thing about it, you knew that the guy was lying. Joe Biden is a little more slicker than that, y'all. And he's not who he say he is. I mean, I question why people voted for this guy. And I want everybody to understand this, that number one, the Republicans or the Republicans, the Democrats or the Democrats, they're not the only choice we have. There are third parties, Green Party, Independent. Hell, I will say again, why even vote for somebody in a party? Vote for an individual that just punched the clock yesterday, you know? But let me start ranting here. And I want to start off with this first video here, and then we gonna comment on it, all right? So check this out. Now, I'm gonna share my screen. All right, here we go here.
Democratic presidential candidate Joseph Biden today faces a controversy. 3 weeks ago at a debate at the Iowa State Fair, he used phrases identical to those delivered by British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock.
Biden seemed to be claiming Kinnock's vision and life as his own.
Why is it that my wife is sitting out there in the audience, is the first in her family to ever go to college?
And one thing I want to say, I want y'all to pay attention to this guy. Look at how he looks right now. Pay attention to the details. And then, you know, at the end of this video, I'm going to say something that might be way out the way, conspiratorial or whatever you want to call it. But just pay attention. Look at this guy's features as we go along in this video. Let's continue.
Why is Gladys the first woman in her family in 1,000 generations to be able to get to university?
My ancestors who worked in the coal mines in northeast Pennsylvania and come up after 12 hours and play football.
8 hours underground and then come up and play football.
It's because they didn't have a platform upon which to stand.
There was no platform upon which they could stand.
The notion that every thought or notion or idea you'd have to go back and find and attribute to someone, I think is, quite frankly, ludicrous.
The problem here is...
See how he touched his eye? See, that's what you call, body movement interpretation. He was lying right there. He was telling you that he was lying.
That Senator Biden told his audience he'd just been thinking about these things, and he failed to give any credit at all to his famous British speechwriter.
You know, I was thinking on the way over here. Now that's a little too much because, as you point out, what's behind the words? What's there? And a lot of people, the rap on Biden has always been that it's just a surface.
I should have said, to paraphrase Neil Kinnock, it's the only time I didn't, and all the times I've ever used it. But
no, he was lying right there. Look how he just pluck his head back and forth like a chicken. Like he's trying to reiterate that he's telling the truth. This guy's a trip, man.
CBS News found a tape of a second instance.
It reappeared in the New York Times with a new charge, that Biden had appropriated a famous litany from the late Robert Kennedy about what the gross national product cannot measure.
it cannot measure the health of our children,
The health of our children,
the quality of our education,
the quality of their education,
the joy of their play,
or the joy of their play.
Biden gave Kennedy no credit. He has also quoted or paraphrased John Kennedy, Hubert Humphrey, and British Labour Party leader Neil Kinnock, all without credit.
Joseph Biden admitted today that he committed plagiarism when he was in law school. He said it was a mistake, but that it was unintentional.
He quoted 5 pages of someone else's work without proper citation.
I've done some dumb things, and I'll do dumb things again.
And he's doing dumb things right now.
Was given an F.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been dumb.
To the political community in Washington, it all seems of a piece. Plagiarism at law school, plagiarism on the stump.
The great communicator. Strike that. The great imitator.
You don't steal verbatim.
Perpetrator.
Or when you do, as he did 99% of the time, you give credit.
Biden's critics say he sells himself as a man whose words and visions can inspire a new generation in politics. But if the thoughts, phrases, and visions really belong to others, it's a form of false advertising.
Is it a wise idea, though, to take something that personal, anyway, from another politician and try and appropriate it to your own campaign?
I think it was a stupid thing to appropriate material that was really very personal, that was someone else's.
Most people didn't know who he was, you know, Joe Biden, and now they're going to say, oh, yeah, he's the guy who plagiarized.
That's a lot of people.
Politically, that's devastating.
These clips are devastating. He looks like a Joe Biden wind-up doll with somebody else's words coming out.
You heard what she said? Look like a Joe Biden wind-up doll. Remember, I told you to pay attention to his features as we go along in this video. Let's continue.
If they're going to do things that are stupid as well as immoral, then they're probably too dumb to have the job of president.
Voters are going to have to decide whether he was dishonest or dumb.
Senator Joseph Biden may have more explaining to do.
The new questions stem from taped remarks of Biden during an April campaign appearance in New Hampshire.
I went to law school on a full academic scholarship, the only one in my class to have a full academic scholarship. Went back to law school and, in fact, ended up in the top half of my class. I was the outstanding student in the political science department at the end of my year. I graduated with 3 degrees from undergraduate school and 165 credits, only needed 123 credits.
Biden now concedes he did not graduate in the top half of his law school class, that he does not have 3 degrees from college, and that he was not named outstanding political science student in college.
Newsweek says Biden actually went to school on a half scholarship, ended up near the bottom of his class, and won only 1 degree, not 3.
So why should we believe anything that come out his mouth when he's talking about that he's fighting for us? Are y'all serious? This man is a hypocrite, a plagiarizer. His thoughts are not his own. Let's continue the video.
Biden ranked 76th in a class of 85 at the University of Syracuse Law School. I mean, this guy comes off this whole thing as a flyweight.
Now Biden says Newsweek is right.
Look at his face. Look at his features.
I'd be delighted to sit down and compare my IQ to yours if you'd like, Frank.
Joe Biden was victimized by the truth.
Bye-bye Biden. He may not know it yet, but I think this is going to be very difficult for him to recover.
Is Joe Biden dead meat, yes or no?
I think so.
Bob?
It's in terminal condition.
Terminal. Eleanor?
Yes, unless he comes in third in Iowa.
Morton?
Dying.
I say dead. We'll be right back.
All right, I will leave the description at the bottom of the page for this video if you want to view it for yourself. And everything that I play is for educational and for fair use. All right, let's come out of here. Yeah, I have trust issues with this president. I mean, something's wrong with this guy. And it just amazes me. It never ceases to amaze me that how some people just fail upward. Yeah, everything they do, like they some kind of Homer Simpson or Peter Griffin type of character. They do bad things, but end up rising up to the levels of power of president. I don't understand why this guy is in office. He's a war criminal, a liar, a hypocrite, plagiarizer. Why would somebody want to vote for characteristics like that? That's nasty. Like I said, we need a normal person in office. And people might saying, well, Sherman, you selling a pipe dream. There's no way there's nobody's going to get in office. They just punched a clock yesterday. See, that's the mentality of the whole entire population. It always got to be somebody elite. Somebody with some already obtained power and money and influence. It's never a normal average Joe or Jill working at a 9 to 5. We can make this decision to make changes to the world, but everybody's got to get on one accord, the same consciousness. Start thinking about the choices that we make, because it just seems like no matter what choice we make, we get worse and worse and worse. And it doesn't make any sense. Somebody is pulling the strings. They're not being named. They're not being seen. And all these other left commentators, they just failed to see that. They think it's a conspiracy to think that there's somebody who's making these decisions other than the president. I have seen read something somewhere where there are almost 30 levels above the president when making decisions on this planet. We're going to get in a little deeper into that. You know, this channel is also going to start talking about ufology, religion, and other things that goes on, because these are the type of things that influence the human race. You know, the history. And remember what I told you in my last video. People who win the wars in history are the ones who write the history. So therefore, that's what's being sort of like programmed into our children when they're getting educated. That's why I encourage parents to make sure that you study to show yourself approved and you find out the truth, so you can tell your kids, hey, you can take that test at school and give them the answer that they want, but don't believe everything they say. Only believe math and you won't go wrong. That's what I always told my kids. So I want to play this next video, and this next video is about, you know, Biden's recent things that he's lies about, and you know, it's by the video is by, let's see here, The Hill. Katie Halper is on it, and I like Katie Halper. She's funny. So I watch her, and you know, she's sort of kind of like one of the influences on me, but I also have my own ideas. I probably go a little farther than her. But anyway, let me stop talking, and we're gonna play this next video. Let me share my screen here.
On Tuesday, President Biden and Vice President Harris traveled to Atlanta, Georgia, urging Congress to pass voting rights legislation. Let's take a look.
Senate Republicans have exploited arcane rules to block these bills. The American people have waited long enough. The Senate must act.
I believe that the threat to our democracy is so grave that we must find a way to pass these voting rights bills.
These people behind him, where do they find them at? I mean, what are their resources for information? I just want to know. Because I don't understand if the facts about this guy is out there. Everything about him is out there. Why do people support him? Either I'm the one that's crazy, or the whole world done lost its mind. Let's continue the video.
Debate them, vote, let the majority prevail. And if that bare minimum is blocked, we have no option but to change the Senate rules, including getting rid of the filibuster for this.
But in between lobbying for voting rights,
I'm going to say he's just talking. You know, Biden is the architect of the 94 crime bill, and every crime bill before that, his name is on that bill. This dude is a real racist. One time Biden had said that this country is doomed. Doom, I tell you. And he was saying that because of the browning of America, the immigration of America. Because we all know that when a darker complected race mixed with a Caucasian race, it's not going to come out Caucasian. And this dude actually said that we're doomed because of that. But let's continue the video.
Biden joked, "You think I'm kidding? It seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested," seemingly referring to a claim he had previously made that he was once arrested during a civil rights movement demonstration. Which Biden himself later recanted. A co-host of the Useful Idiots podcast and host of the Katie Halper show rebuked this lie on Twitter, saying Joe Biden lies once effing again about getting arrested, which he never was. The shameless craven gall to lie in front of a Morehouse audience and to taint the legacy of those he mentions who died fighting for the right to vote. The non-right-wing media says nothing, of course. Katie Halper joins us now. Katie, welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
Right? He just forgot.
I mean, yeah. It's this is so unbelievable. You can't make it up. A friend actually said to me this morning, he can't be stopped unless it comes to doing something progressive about Joe Biden, which I think is probably a good way of putting it. But yeah, I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but I guess that makes me naive. But he once again, because he can't be stopped, he once again lied about his own experience. And this is an incredibly racialized history, obviously, as he's pointing out, as he should. You know, the voting rights are a very racialized issue. It's a question of racial justice. Disenfranchisement, obviously, is a question of racial justice. And he has the kind of gall to go in there to speak at this historically black college, Morehouse, and also, praise people. Like, he mentions Goodman, Schwerner, and Cheney. And I just wanted to quote what he says. So he says, I mean, he's radically honest for him, but this is just because it's just such would require such time travel, so he doesn't lie about this. But he does say, we saw freedom riders of every race, leaders of every faith marching arm in arm. I did not live the struggles of Douglas, Tubman, King, Lewis, Goodman, Cheney, Schwerner. Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner are the three civil rights voter registration organizers who were brutally murdered in Mississippi. Countless others, known and unknown. I did not walk in the shoes of generations of students who walked these grounds, but I walked other grounds because I'm so damn old. I was there as well. You think I'm kidding, man? Seems like yesterday, the first time I got arrested. Anyway.
And this dude has never been arrested in his life. Joe Biden is such a big liar, man. He's been against black people ever since he started in Congress. And I'm going to keep reiterating about the facts that 13% of America is black, okay? 40% of the prisons are black. If he really was true for voting rights, why are you trying to put one of your biggest supporting group, which is Black America, in jail, fool? You're the reason why you're president is because of black people. Their vote got you there. But you instead of putting us in jail, letting the cops shoot us out on the street, unarmed. You've been in power a long time, and you watched this shit happen. But let me continue the video.
He never got arrested. He managed to somehow. he was stopped while traveling in South Africa. It was apartheid South Africa. He lied. I mean, he lied and put Andrew Young, the former ambassador, in a very awkward position because he recounted how he was with him and got arrested at visiting Nelson Mandela. It turned out he didn't ever get arrested.
Yeah, gonna make somebody else a lie.
Here, once again, he has the nerve to invoke the legacy of these three men, Goodman, Schwerner, Cheney, as well as, of course, other people who he points out. I mean, he's a little bit better, I guess, than Trump in that he doesn't say that Frederick Douglass is doing a great job. But he probably would say that at another appointment about how much he helped Frederick Douglass or something. But this is also someone who has a very racist history in the Senate, right? Like, he brags about having every major minor crime bill has the name of this senator from Delaware on it. And here he is presenting himself as some kind of civil rights hero. He never was arrested. He backed very racist legislation. Mm-hmm. He never protested meaningfully. He admitted that because he said he did, and then he had to walk that back. What he did do was act as a lifeguard at a pool that was integrated, and he dealt there with Corn Pop, famously, as he recalled, a very bad dude. And that in itself is a story full of kind of racist tropes of the thuggish, predatory young black male. And I think that story has served to, he kind of tried to present himself as a negotiator, someone who was able to negotiate with black people, because apparently they got into a fight about, like, one of them called the other one Esther Williams, said the other one looked like Esther Williams. But they were able to make their peace. So the whole thing is just the lies, the pandering, despite a very racist history. It's kind of like Trump's upside down Bible meets Hillary's hot sauce in her pocketbook.
Yeah, and this can't be blamed on.
And these are the people that they put these choices in front of us. All right. Last time it was Biden versus Trump. Do you actually think that the people wanted those two up there to go for president of the United States? No, this is what they got us programmed thinking, that this is the only choice that we have. But according to the Constitution, I can be elected president. So if everybody would just wake up. Most rich people, to me, I think, the billionaires, the 100 millionaires, I think these people are sick. They've been caught doing some pretty messed up things, but that's a story for another time. And this dude is the second Catholic to be named president of the United States. I definitely don't trust Catholics. Sorry, I don't. You know what you did. The Pope know what's going on. So forget about it. I'm being objectively truthful about everything. Right is right. Wrong is wrong. No matter if you're Democrat or Republican. All politicians, to me, just damn near are hypocrites. Including Bernie Sanders. Talking about my good friend Joe Biden. If he's your good friend, what does that say about you? I would say that you're guilty by association. Now, don't get me wrong. I used to support Bernie a lot because the stuff that was coming out his mouth about Medicare for all and ending the wars and raising the minimum wage up to $15 an hour. I was for all that. I was like, yeah. I mean, you need to help the people out because it ain't nothing but regular people suffering out here. But he was just a sheep herder. A sheep herder for the Democrat Party. And he's still being a sheep herder. Because all I hear is words. I have not seen not one action from the Democratic Party to change anything around in this country at all. So I'm going to tell you, to my audience, my growing audience, don't forget to like, don't forget to comment and share this video, and most of all, subscribe. Because we're going to take a deep dive into everything that I talk about. because there's always a deeper meaning, a deeper truth to everything that goes on this planet. You got to stop looking on the surface of things, because you're just going to be lost. You got to dig. You got to dig deep in that rabbit hole and find out what's going on around you. I mean, when the shit hits the fan, you don't want to be caught with your mouth wide open. You get a mouthful of shit. But as I was saying before, this dude is a hypocrite. His son's on drugs, but there's no punishment for his son, except he gets $1 million jobs, and that's about it. But when it comes to changing the environment for working people, for poor black neighborhoods, this dude has not been there. So I don't know why he keep thinking that black people really support him when it's just a facade. It's a lie. And it's just because some people are suffering from the lack of knowledge. But let's continue.
On his sundowning either, because it's a lifelong issue for him. In his 1988 presidential campaign, which he dropped out of after not gaining any traction because he was caught plagiarizing a Scottish politician's speech, saying that thousands of generations of Bidens had worked in the mines. It's like
mines, right?
You just outed yourself here because you haven't been here for thousands of generations.
Right.
But
yeah.
So putting all that aside, in that '88 campaign, he also inflated his civil rights record, and his staff would constantly tell him, "You've got to stop saying this. You didn't do this stuff." And he would keep saying it anyway. Mm-hmm. And finally, in the New York Times, did some piece in '89 or whatever, dissecting what he actually did, and it was basically nothing. And in his memoir, he really does finally cop to not having done much of anything. It appears that it's very likely that he was at a black church service one night, and from there, the congregation marched to a movie theater where there was a sit-in going on. There was a desegregation protest happening, and it does appear that he walked with them. So he has inflated that to now being arrested as part of the civil rights movement after it being debunked.
He inflates everything.
Has he ever been arrested for anything ever?
I mean, I don't think so.
No, he's not.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, can you imagine? It would be the end of. We'd never hear the end of it unless it was for something like, I don't know, like loitering or something. In which case, we'd never hear about it. But anything actually righteous.
I mean, he could easily have been, because John Lewis for years would do civil disobedience where he would get arrested. Joe Crowley, because he was facing a contest from AOC, went and got arrested with John Lewis at an immigrant rights protest.
But still good. Yeah,
it was too little, too late.
Yeah, when that happens, that's all performative, y'all. Anytime you see a politician call themselves being an activist in the streets and might get arrested, like recently Jamal Bowman, all this stuff is performative. You understand me? It's a show. Nobody means anything for real that has power. All they care about is maintaining their power. As long as you keep electing these elites, these people with influence and got a whole bunch of money, you're never going to get change. We need somebody from the community, local communities that work in a community that's suffering. That way they can project on how to govern, spread it from there. Because we're not going to get any change as long as we can keep collecting. I mean, Donald Trump probably is going to run for 2024 more than likely. And he's just going to be another dumbass choice put in front of us. Even though they didn't want Donald Trump in there, they settled for him because his policies lines up with the elite. He gave away the biggest transfer of wealth when they did the CARES Act. 86%, I believe, went to the top. These people do not want to help us. Stop giving your vote. Stop giving your money to them, especially when you know they're lying. That's gotta be a way for regular people to make our choice on who to lead us. They supposed to administrate, not tell us what the hell to do. They supposed to administrate our tax dollars for the good of this country, and that's not what they're doing. They pitting us against each other and running out the back door with all the money. That's what's happening. And it's not a black and white thing. It's a class struggle. It's the rich against the poor. They trying to completely eliminate the middle class. So there be this big divide, this big gulf, where poor people can't do nothing about their situation and the elite can maintain their status quo. People that do the 9 to 5, the second shift jobs, the third shift jobs, working midnight to maybe 7 to 8 o'clock in the morning. People who do that, they do that every single day and just completely oblivious about what is going on. So subscribe to this channel. You'll find out. We're going to get a lot more deeper than politics in here. I'm going to come out this video. And please understand, people, that we live in a sick world because our leaders are sick in the head. They got no business having the power that they have. But they bought by corporations like ExxonMobil and Pfizer and the industrial military complex like Raytheon, Northrop Grumman, Boeing. These are the people that are kind of like, you know, the levels above the president. And then you got everything from Black Ops operation. Heck, the Pentagon reported that $21 trillion is missing from the budget. And you wonder why we got lead pipes in Flint, Michigan? They don't care nothing about us. They use us as a franchise. They don't care about our well-being. They just drain your soul dry. And then you're lucky if you'll be able to afford to put yourself in the ground. That's what they do. And they put up this facade like they care about you, including Joe Biden. Wake up, everybody. We're going to get deeper into things because the buck doesn't stop with the president. Now, remember when I was telling you about paying attention to how Mr. Joe Biden looks? I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to want you to check this out. Give me just a moment here. And this video right here is it's a trip. I'm gonna let you look at it. I'm pretty sure all of you have heard it and seen it and everything. But I'm gonna go ahead and play it here anyway, and I want you to pay attention to this, okay? Let me come out of here and go and share my screen. Now, this is what I want you to pay attention to. See how this guy looks right here? That don't even look like the same Joe Biden. Look at his face. Now, I would say he has a hell of a plastic surgeon if that's what's going on. But sometimes I think there are two of all the elites out there. Yeah, that's a conspiracy, isn't it? But you mean to tell me this is the same guy versus this guy. Look at him. Then I want to go back and look at that. You see him here. You see him here. This is nothing but a puppet right here, y'all. This dude did not make decisions on his own. Now I'm going to play this video right quick. Watch what he says.
More questions. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
The comment.
You see that crap? And we let him in the office. But that don't surprise me, because Donald Trump said I grab him by the you know what and don't even wait. He got in himself. Like I said, there's some kind of craziness going on with this country, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what's in the water. Maybe that's the reason why they ain't fixed the lead pipe. Keep them stupid.
May have been directed just at Charlamagne, but it plays into the false notion that Democrats own the black vote and don't have to earn the black vote. Furthermore, a privileged white man does not get to dictate what is and isn't black. And
that's
unfortunately
right.
for Joe, Twitter is on a tirade, calling him entitled, an idiot, and wondering if he truly is the lesser of two evils.
No, he's not.
What do you think? Is Biden the better choice over Trump? Let us
Both
know
of
in
them
the
are
comment
bad.
section below. For HipHollywood.com, I'm Vanessa Barnett.
But see, that race might happen again. People, stop supporting them. You don't have to. I promise you don't have to. When you go to the polls, you ain't got to check these two. You don't. You can write in your own name. Stop electing these fools. Anyway, I'm going to come out of here. People, we need to wake up and fight. This corporatocracy that's trying to take over this country. We shouldn't let it stand. We don't have to. Some people might say, well, your vote doesn't matter anymore. They just put in office who they want to put in office. Well, when we go to those polls, we got to choose what our hands do. We do. Put your own name down. Put my name down. I'll do it. Because it's simple to do. Right is right and wrong is wrong. You get into office, you go to killing brown people all over the world. I want y'all to name one country right now that's being bombed that's European and full of white babies. See, that's the kind of stuff that just pisses me off. Especially like people like Joe Biden and Barack Obama. He's another story we're going to cover, because he's really a wolf in sheep's clothing. I'm telling you that, especially the black people. And they play this identity politics all the time. Look at the policies that these people pass. Forget about the flowery rhetoric. Because 9 times out of 10, they are lying to you. And with that said, don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And most of all, share it with your family and your friends. It would really help a brother out. Now, I will bid you a good morning, a good afternoon, and a good evening. Peace. I am out.